The Scent of Rain and Serendipity. Elara had spent 3 days in Paris waiting for the cliché to happen. She'd sat on benches, sipped expensive coffee, and watched the Seine flow. But the city had offered her only hurried tourists and persistent drizzle. On the fourth afternoon, the drizzle turned into a sudden, aggressive downpour as she was walking near the Pont Neuf. She ducked into the nearest shelter, a tiny, mahogany-scented bookshop café named Le Livre Caché. It was predictably crowded, and the only available space was a small marble table tucked beside a towering shelf of forgotten poets. Already seated, there was a man with a shock of dark, slightly damp hair, and a worn copy of Camus open on his lap. "Pardon, may I?" Elara asked in strained French, gesturing to the chair. He looked up, and the world seemed to slow down. His eyes, the color of fine cognac, smiled before his lips did. "Please, the seat is all yours. I was just about to finish this sentence." He closed the book gently, marking his page with a metro ticket. Elara sat, placing her soggy leather satchel on the floor. The air was thick with the scent of wet wool, old paper, and fresh espresso. She didn't want to break the silence, but the moment felt too fragile to ignore. "You look like you know how to read in the rain," she ventured finally. He laughed, a low, melodic sound. "I find that Paris, when it decides to weep, is best experienced through a window and a worn-out classic. And you look like you were running from the weather, perhaps hoping for a miracle." "Something like that," she admitted, feeling her heart suddenly accelerate, as if it had just remembered why it was meant to beat. They spent the next hour talking about forgotten novels, the impossibility of finding a good pastry, and the profound loneliness of being surrounded by beauty. His name was Julien. He was an architect who loved things with history. When the rain finally eased, painting the cobblestones with silver reflections, Julien stood up. "The miracle you were hoping for," he said, holding out his hand. "Perhaps it's not in the grand gesture of the Eiffel Tower, but in the small moment we just stole from the rain." Elara placed her hand in his. Her own name felt brand new as she spoke it. "Perhaps it is, Julien." "Then I must see if the weather holds tomorrow," he replied, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Meet me here, same time, just to check on the forecast."